How's it going? My name is John, and in this video, I'm going to show you a quick to-do list using Vue.js. Vue.js is a JavaScript framework that I've been playing around with. It's super lightweight and super easy. It kind of reminds me of Angular 1, but it's got like little bit, just little things that make it really easy to work with. And so far, I've been really enjoying it because there's a lot of resources, uh, a lot of tutorials that you could watch and read in order to get better at using Vue.js. There's a lot of documentation, and just the fact that it's really easy to work with. That's why I really like it. All right, so here's my to-do website, and really quickly, this is just using HTML and Vue. So HTML, JavaScript, and then using Vue. So let's just go over the functionality really quick. Um, it's going to show some tasks. You could go ahead and add a task, and then you could go ahead and remove a task. That's it. So let's go into the nuts and bolts. Okay, so here's my editor right here, and you can ignore this practice.js right here. Um, because Vue.js is you pretty much use vanilla JavaScript as far as I know. So like here's just normal JavaScript, and I was able to copy and paste this function into here, so you can see how this is very similar to this, and that's why I really like Vue.js. There's not like a lot of syntactical sugar. Um, like especially like when I was playing around with Angular 2 and TypeScript, it was just really far removed from what I know. And that's not to say like, oh, you should avoid stuff that you're uncomfortable with. It's just at my skill level right now, I pretty much know like basic JavaScript as far as like, I don't know, like making short little scripts or like algorithm problems. And I'm trying to apply that to my web applications. So that's why I'm using Vue.js because I want to go to the next step. All right then. So let's go ahead and start with the basic HTML. The boilerplate that y'all are probably familiar with. You got your HTML element, your head element, your body element. Those are pretty normal. Your char set UTF. Now, in order to get Vue.js working, all you need to do is copy and paste this CDN right here. So you just have a script tag with the source right here, and that's your CDN for Vue, and it just works right away. I really like it because you could just copy paste. You don't have to do any complicated rigmarole that you have to do with like, especially with React or Angular 2. All right then. So next, you have to create a Vue instance. So app .js is a Vue instance, and once you make your instance, you have to include it right here. Okay, so that pretty much takes care of all your boilerplate. Like when you get set up, uh, it looks pretty much looks like this to get set up. Okay, so next you just had to add your normal HTML. So to do is to do. Um, I added a label and an input and a button. That's this functionality right here. But let's go ahead and talk about the view parts of the HTML. So I just want to go ahead and just move this over. Okay. So we got what we have right here is this view model right here. View model new task. So what does that mean? Well, if you go to my view instance right here, I have this variable. I have this, I guess, I don't know if it's variable or data. I'm just going to call it a variable. So I have this variable called new task, and all it is an empty string. So when I use vModel, I'm using two-way data binding with the variable new task. So right here, there's actually there actually already is a value in here, and it's just an empty string. Why is it an empty string? Because I said so right here. Now, when I add in run, or when I add in talk, what that two-way data binding is that this variable now becomes the string talk. And that's all ng model is doing, as far as I know. Um, so, and that's what I need. Like in my input, I need to have some way of connecting my input to this new task right here. So that's what ng model is doing. That's what that two-way data binding is doing. All right, next, I have this button right here. Now, buttons by themselves are pretty useless until I add in this directive right here. By the way, these are called directives. So v model directive, v on click directive, v4 directives. That's these v dashes. They're called directives. So, anyways, so this button right here by itself is pretty useless. Uh, so usually you click on a button to go to another link. But what I'm using this button for is triggering this function right here called add task. Now, really quick, v on, that means it's like it's called an event listener, so it's listening for an event. So what kind of event is it listening for? Well, Vue is listening for a click on this button element. And whenever this button element is clicked, it's triggering this function right here called add task. Now, it's a function. No, it's actually called a method. Why is it a method? It's actually a method. And this method is just a function. Confusing, I know. But all this method is doing is it's taking an argument called new task. What's new task? That's this right here. Whatever input I have in here, it's gonna take that. It's gonna take that argument and it's gonna put it into this function right here. So, for example, I have um, I have talk. So when I click this button right here, it's going to take the string talk and put it into this function add task. So let's go ahead and see what it's doing. So it's taking uh, it's taking the new task variable and it's pushing it into the tasks array. Okay, and then it's emptying the new task. Then it's setting the new task to an empty string, and then it's just making a little console message letting me know that it works. So I guess I should explain this first. So uh, basically, these bullet points right here are an array. So I have this tasks array. I have shower, eat, and code. Therefore, shower, eat, and code. So whenever I'm adding a task, I'm just pushing the new task variable into the existing tasks array, and it's pushing that in. And once it's done pushing, it's going to go ahead and just blank new tasks. So let me go ahead and demonstrate one more time. So here's talk. I'm going to push talk. There you go, and it is automatically, uh, em- for lack of a better word, empties the string. So just to demonstrate, if I remove this, I'm going to go ahead and add run. See how that run's still there? That's kind of annoying. That's why I added that this dot new tasks. Ta-da! Okay, so yeah, that pretty much explains the on click and how functions work. All right, I kind of skipped ahead for the for the v4 directive. So let me just go ahead and explain this really quick. In my app instance, I have this array called tasks. That's what this is right here. And I'm saying for each task in tasks, go ahead and make a line item. And in each line item, go ahead and output the task. This is the one-way data binding right here. So in this two-way data binding, you're reading and you're writing, or like you're getting and you're setting. This one, it's only getting. It's only setting. I'm sorry, it's only getting and it's only outputting um, whatever string that element happens to be. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I could actually use that. I got out of boot camp. So, anyways, so yeah, so it's just saying it's just outputting tasks. And then right here is a little icon. That's the X icon. Explain that in a second. So yeah, as you can see here, I have my task, and then I have my icon right here. Well, the only thing I don't like is that the pointer is not changing. But I promise you, look, this X works. Okay, see? I even got my little remove task function works. It's amazing, right? Okay, so that's what this v-for directive does. All it does is it loops through this array, and it's just outputting the elements of that array. So it's outputting shower, it's outputting eat, it's outputting code. Okay, so I would say this is one thing that I don't like is that JavaScript, unlike Ruby, doesn't have like a built-in method to drop elements from an array, as far as I know. I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure like jQuery has some kind of method that they created that can make it really easy to drop elements from an array that vanilla JavaScript does not have. And I'm hoping that because Vue is was created to like replace jQuery, I'm hoping that Vue has like a built-in method that does the same. Because writing all this out, it's kind of annoying, and I actually had to create like a different practice.js file just to practice it. So yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what this is doing. Okay, so whenever you click on this X right here, whenever you click on that icon, right, it's going to trigger this function remove task. So what's my argument? It's task. Again, that um, task. Yeah, it's removing task. So it's taking that task and it's looping through this tasks array. And if the element in tasks matches, if it's exactly equals to the task, so task exactly equal to this dot tasks in the array, then what it's going to do, it's going to splice. So it's just going to remove that array. It's going to remove that element from the array, and then it's going to give me a little message that it works. So again, just to watch in action, removes it like that. Now the only downside for this is that if I have two tasks that are exactly the same, and I click on it, because it's looping through the array and deleting each element that matches it, it's going to, of course, delete two at the same time. Okay, so that was a little long-winded, but this is just an example of like what a beginner can do using Vue.js. As you can see, it's not too complicated. I only finished NetNinja's like 1/3 of his Vue playlist, and I could already do something like this. And this is pretty cool. Like all I need to do is figure out how I could hook up this data to my database, and I could already see myself using this in my Rails app right away. Okay, so that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.